Hey everybody, welcome back to Electric Cafe. Today's video is an album review on 1987 album Earth, Sun and Moon. Earth, Sun, Moon from Love and Rockets. This is their third album. Of course, Love and Rockets were the former three of the four members of the fantastic Bauhaus. David J., Kevin Haskins, and Daniel Ash. Um, yeah, this is. I guess we'll get right into it. I don't have too much to say about the band, but this album was. I haven't heard this album in quite a few years, and I wouldn't say I'm a huge Love and Rockets fan. In fact, I like Daniel Ash's solo album better than probably um, any full album that Love and Rockets did, and I'm probably saying that lightly because I think some of the highs. I really feel like Daniel Ash is on this particular album. I feel like he's the most talented of all the members of Bauhaus, and I feel like he's kind of a little bit underrepresented on this album. And I feel like if he would have stood out a little bit more, it could have carried the album. But like Daniel Ash is the most. I mean, he's generally the singer. He's the guitar player, right? He's the other guy's the bass player and the drums. I mean, they're kind of the fillers, right? I mean, they sing background vocals too and stuff like that. But Daniel Ash is the star of Love and Rockets. I mean, he's sung the best songs. He plays the most interesting instruments. But I feel like on this album he's a little bit underappreciated or underutilized in some ways, and I'm not sure why that is, but I'm not. I saw Love and Rockets on this tour in 1988 when I was 12, and yeah, it was just it was good. It was good. It's just I don't know if I was really like wowed by them because I was really into electronic music already by the time I was 12, and there's some of Love and Rockets that feels like you're listening to a rock band from the 50s. Like they have that kind of Americana or that UK version of Americana rock and roll. It's really it's hard to sort of compare him to something that's older. I mean, like, but it just has that kind of classic kind of rock and roll, like before, like that '50s sound, kind of like you know, I don't know. It just kind of has like that traditional kind of rock and roll sound. Before the Beatles kind of changed things, right? So let's get into the album review. There's 12 songs on this album. Mirror People starts it out. Strong guitar. The bridge is nice and dark, edgy, catchy. I think it's a really good opener. I got it 3 stars. Very good. Then track number 2, The Light. Nice acoustic guitar. The echo on the guitar. I like the effects. Heavy distortion. It's a good track. I got it 2 stars. Then track 3, Welcome Tomorrow. I just wrote good harmonies. It's got some good harmonies. I like that about it. 2.5 stars. Then the most popular track from this album, No New Tale to Tell. It's cohesive. It's a good, more poppy song. Everything works well. It's 3 stars. Very good track. Then Here on Earth. It's catchy. It's a good song. I got 2.5 stars. And then Lazy Old Rock Sound. This is my least favorite song on the album, and it's right in between the album, which kind of gives it like a break, but it's not a good break. I got it. It's okay. It's got a one. I got it 1 star. Waiting for the Flood. Not bad. It's a good sing along song. Kind of has that kind of feel. It's different, but it's good. I got it 2 stars. And then Rainbird. This is one of my the better liked songs on the album. I like the guitars, the backing guitar, the rhythm, the sounds. I got 3 stars as well. The Telephone is Empty. this one's a little bit more atmospheric, which is cool. It's a good song. I got 2.5 stars. And then my favorite track on the album, Everybody Wants to Go to Heaven. Nice melody. I really like how it's sung. Everything's really good. I got 3.5 stars. Then track number 11 is the title track, or Sun Moon. Kind of spacey, nice melody, 3 stars. And then it ends on a strong note too. Track called Youth. Nice ender, really good acoustic. 3.25 star. My second favorite song on the album. So when I look at the album, there's some good songs on here for sure. The lots of less rock ones are the best ones for me. Like the ones that are less rocky. Second half of the album is really good. I think overall it's really solid. Lots of good harmonies and soul in there. When I think of the opportunities for the album, it lacks some unique instrumentation from Daniel Ash. Like I said before, I feel like like I always think of like the better Bauhaus as kind of like the moody ones, right? And I think of like Daniel Ash's solo album and some of the other Love and Rockets albums. This one kind of lacks moodiness. And really no real standout tracks on here. There's no like, man, that's a great song on here. There's a lot of good tracks. In fact, when I look at the album, I have 6 of the 12 tracks at 3 stars, but none of them get above 3.5 stars. So there's a lot of very good songs on here. There's a lot of songs that kind of sounds a little similar. There's not really that track or two that sounds different. There's only one track that I thought was kind of different in some ways, or one song that was sort of more atmospheric, but just there's one that's acoustic, but they don't really kind of like take it to the extreme and kind of everything's nice and concise, and there's 12 songs on here. I feel like maybe you could have cut it down a little bit to like 10 or 11 songs, and sort of because there's a little bit of the album kind of starts to sound the same. But I think it's a really good album overall. I thought when I rank up when I tally up the stars, it's 31.25 stars out of 12 tracks. It's 2.60, so on the higher side of good. And overall, that gives me overall that kind of led me to the score of 67 out of 100. It's on the high side of good, almost a very good. Probably a song or two away. Maybe they could have dropped a song. Who am I to choose? But if they dropped off the light and lazy old rock sound, which really it is, it's an old lazy rock sound. They should take those 2 tracks off, and I think it would got to 70 by default versus even having to add 2 better tracks in that to get to 70. It just kind of hurts the album in some ways, makes the album a little long. None of the songs are really super long. I think there's only one song that's above 5 minutes. So for the most part, they're nice 3.5-3 minute songs. So the album's probably around like 44-45 minutes at the most. But a lot of the songs do kind of sound familiar, and again, there's no really like automatic, this is a great song, and there's really no, I feel like Daniel Ash's input it's not necessarily like it's not there, because it is, because he's singing, he's the lead singer on most of these, and his guitar is there, and he's always harmonizing and singing with the other members of the band, but there's really no like odd kind of moody kind of strange sound, like where it's just like oh, that's the sound of Love and Rockets, or that's the sound of post Bauhaus. It's just they're all kind of edging on older rock sounds, like Love and Rockets doing older rock sounds. It's just kind of missing some atmospheric stuff, some darker stuff. It just sounds like alternative rock, and I'm kind of harping on the opportunities of the band, but of this album. But all this, I can't really knock any of those songs except for one. You know, they're all above good, except for one song. It's just, you know, I'm kind of thinking the opportunities could have made it better instead of just focusing on the things that are good, because the things that are good individually, there's a lot of good songs, but I think when you hear those good songs in a row, it's kind of wouldn't say they get lost in the mix, but there's too many songs that kind of sound similar. But overall, 67 out of 100. It's on the high side of a good album, so I enjoyed the album. You know, it's gonna be interesting where this one ranks with my other Love and Rockets out with their other albums. Um, but yeah, that's my review of Earth, Sun, Moon by Love and Rockets. Curious, what would you rate it out of 100? And what do you think of the opportunities on this album are? Like being constructive. Like I'd like to hear your opinion. Um, you know, what are the opportunities? Even if you love the album, like what are the opportunities on the album? Do you feel like too many songs? 12 songs is too many songs for an album? Do you feel like there's too many that sound similar? No good, you know, no good standout song? Or do you think like the moodiness of Love and Rockets really isn't there? Maybe Daniel Ash isn't really being featured as much as he should have? You know, no keyboards on here, really? You know, is that an opportunity? Um, yeah, I feel like, you know, that's probably one thing. If they had a little bit better producer, I don't know who produced their stuff, and maybe may have not produced it. Knowing Daniel Ash, he probably produced it himself, but um, I think they could have benefited from some atmospheric sounds in there. You know, some atmospheric. You know, even if there was a atmospheric song, you know, I think of like Mr. Moonlight by Bauhaus or something like that. You know, just something different, and where it just kind of it changes the pace so much of the album where you're like, oh, this is something different, and this is a ballad, and this is a darker song, or you know, it kind of pulls you in deeper, and then kind of go back to, then you're like, oh, this is rock and sound, where it's just all the songs are kind of good rock songs. It just kind of it becomes a little bit too one note. You know, that's kind of my opportunities for the album. But curious to know what your thoughts are. Um, Sorry for the background noise. They're mowing the lawn today. All right, thanks for watching.